So today I've finally decided on taking you guys for a tour around my my house, my garden, all that sort of thing. I haven't really had a chance to do that yet, and of course I pick the hottest day of the summer to do that. This is my neighborhood. This is where I live, Hillbillyville, North Carolina, as I lovingly call it. So this tour might get a little bit Blair Witch at times because I'm not so good at, splicing things together video-wise. I'm not very technologically inclined. But yeah, so this is my neighborhood. The temperature says 100 today, and I believe it. To me it feels like 120, melting my little frosty Canadian soul. But anyway, so this is my garden. I'm going to take you on a clockwise tour of my house. This is the garden here that is filled with weeds. You will see this as a recurring theme throughout my garden tour. I completely have given up on my garden until September, so this is going to be more about what's dead than what's alive. But anyway, I really love this garden. I probably should get out and weed it. I took the time to create it. Oh look, a truck's passing by. Well, that's the most interesting thing that happens in Hubert, North Carolina all day long. Anyway, so yeah, I filled it full of gomphrena. Oh, and by the way, if I'm pronouncing things wrong, that's just how I am. So, the gomphrena loves this heat and humidity, apparently. I think I'm going to plant a whole lot more of that next year. And I have some daylilies in here that are spent, but the foliage still doesn't look too bad. I've got a gardenia in the middle, and that's actually the reason why I created this garden in the first place. I didn't just want to plop it anywhere, so there it is. I surrounded it with mostly annuals so that when it gets bigger, it's not like going to be anything that's going to be covered by the thing. Here, look at me, I'm actually optimistic about that thing getting bigger and not dying. I really enjoyed all the petunias I had. They're starting to get a little bit wilty and chewed upon by Japanese beetles and other delightful bugs, and the heat's slowly killing them. I'm actually surprised they lasted this long, really. That's a very droopy mum in a pot that I have there. I used to really hate mums. Not your mothers, I love your mothers, but mums the flower. I used to hate them, I couldn't stand them. And now I like them because, you know what, they actually stand up to the heat pretty well, and the foliage usually looks nice when it's being watered all year long. Alrighty, what else do I have in my front? My kind of messy garage. My camellia over here, this is Governor Mouton? Mouton. I like saying Governor Mouton. Anyway, this is a present Chuck gave me for Valentine's Day one year. I really love it. The only problem with it is that it has yellow mottle virus, which doesn't apparently affect the health of the plant, but you can see, maybe you can't see, some of the tips of the leaves have yellow blotches, hence the yellow mottle effect on the camellia. But I'm just going to leave it alone. It actually looks much better in the summer than in the winter when it flowers. In the summertime the leaves actually look decent. In the wintertime they just look like shit, really. The flowers look cool, but I don't know if it's enough to make up for the crappy leaves. Anyway, alright. Oh, there's my classy garbage can. Okay, let's go back this way. Like I said, Blair Witch, feel free at any time to get up and make yourself a sandwich. Or a beer. A beer would be really good with this viewing. Anyway, there's my little camellia. Camellia, listen to me. I'm drunk. No, I'm not. That's my caladium. And that's another thing I used to hate, but this one I really like. I can't believe it's actually staying alive. It doesn't get much water sitting underneath the eave like that, the overhang. And I haven't watered it in a while, and it's still being quite persistent, so that's cool. I love that thing. Here is another garden full of weeds. Completely full of weeds. And as I said, I probably won't be getting out to do anything about that anytime soon. Like, look at these things. Look. Oh, what am I doing? They're the size of trees. You know, they're almost as big as the salvia, speaking of trees, planted there. Salvia looks kind of scraggly, but the bees love the flowers, so I don't really do anything with it. As you'll see, I do a lot of things wrong in my garden. Please don't be too hard on me. Besides the obvious weeds and not watering. This coleus, I actually can't believe the coleus has hung on as long as it has. I can't remember what it's called, like limelight or lime something. And I really love it. I just have given up on it because I don't feel like watering. I also have a hosta with what looks like maybe a morning glory sprouting through it. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, that's my boring front garden. Usually it looks beautiful when it's not hot and disgusting outside and I've watered it. But this year, like I said, it's just too damn hot. I'm tired of it. That also looked very nice until recently. Now it's full of dead pansies, and the petunias are holding on a little bit, but it's still, everything just looks like shit. Anyway, this is my tour of the dead flowers. Same thing. look at my hanging baskets. I'm sure that my mom is laughing her butt off right now. Anyway, alright. What else do I have? Oh, look, another garden full of weeds. My azalea actually looks pretty good if you can see it. It actually looks much healthier with the weeds filling it out. But I love that thing. That's one of the first things I planted. I don't remember what kind it is. Autumn something. It's purple when it flowers. It actually flowers 3 times a year, which is awesome. I'm glad it doesn't only flower once. Glad I paid that extra $10 for it. There's some toad lilies. Those bloom in the fall, and it's doing pretty well. The first year, it was actually the only thing I ever successfully overwintered, and is still alive. And then that first year it was in a pot and I planted it in the ground, and it's doing much better there. There's my bald rose bush, very classy. It has black spot disease, and I still can't just bear to get rid of it. I know that eventually it'll probably just die, but I can't bear to get rid of it. The first blush of flowers on that thing is so beautiful in May that the rest of the time I just accept this nasty yellow black spot mess that it is. I feel sad when looking at it. I won't look at it anymore. One of my favorite parts of my yard is my magnolia tree. That is a D.D. Blanchard magnolia. I love that thing. Chuck and I planted that on our first year anniversary, and it's so awesome. Last month it lost like all of its leaves and looked so sad, but I watered it every day for a very long time, which is unusual for a tree that should be pretty drought tolerant, and it's about 10 years old. Since it's about 10 feet tall, it grows about a foot every year. But the leaves came back and it's starting to look a little healthier again. I'd really like to limb it up, cut the ones off the bottom, make it into a tree form rather than a very large, unruly thing. And I probably should start doing that soon so I can train it up. Anyway, alrighty. We're walking. Once again, feel free to get a sandwich. This is my butterfly bush that my friend gave to me as a very small twig, and it gets very huge every year. I cut it right back down to the ground, and it gets to this size within a month of me cutting it back, it seems. It's kind of scraggly. I need to deadhead it and kind of prune it back a little bit, but I like it, actually. I don't know. I think Chuck hates it, but it's all good. I'm sure he hates a lot of things. Anyway, this is my Ernest Markham camellia. It kind of looks sad, and as does the trellis. Chuck built this trellis for me when I had something growing on it that got a lot taller than this clematis. Did I call it a camellia? I think I did. I want to call everything a camellia. This clematis plant it just stays kind of tiny. But it actually looked a lot healthier this spring than it has the last few years, so I'm going to have to hate to cut it back when we have to replace the trellis, because it's going to take a while to get established again, because I think it's a group B pruning group. I don't know. Anyway, alright, let's go past the noisy air conditioner. I really want to get something to cover up the air conditioner and the giant gas tank we have. That would be awesome, because it looks just ugly. I hate it. Until recently, I actually had an Ann magnolia, like a purple flowered magnolia, planted right there where you see that giant divot is still, but I had to move it because it just was in the wrong spot. They don't grow very fast, so that got yanked. And in fact, I was going to throw it out. I manhandled it quite roughly when I dug it out of the ground, but I ended up replanting it over there next to the rosemary, which seems like an odd spot, but I'm planning on doing something with it. Anyway, we'll get to that spot later. I'm sure you can't wait. So this is the backyard of my house. This is my back